-318 FY, appearances counsel.
Joanna Carey for the people.
Thank you, Your Honor. Taylor and Anna Prevento on behalf of Mr. Fagan, who's present with me at council table.
We are here for a probable cause conference. Is there any resolution?
Your Honor, we do have a signed probable cause sheet. Sorry, I was not able to turn that into the clerk. The prosecutor just signed it. We are deferring an offer that was made, and we would ask the matter to be set for prelim, but we would ask to address bond today on the record.
Any objection to bond, Ms. Carey, or addressing the bond?
My client is signing that offer as well. I did discuss everything with him yesterday.
All right, let's talk about prelim then first. Ms. Carey, are you aware of anything that will prohibit a timely prelim? Are you aware of anything that would prohibit the prelim from running?
I'm not.
All right, Ms. Fiorvento, are you?
Not at this time, Your Honor. I would like to consult though more with Ms. Carey.
To bond?
Thank you, Your Honor. Not to belabor the record, but as was discussed in the prior file, MCR 6.106C controls when it comes to pretrial release. The default is for personal recognizance bond, unless for some reason the court has concerns about public safety or risk of flight. In this particular case, there is minimal risk of public safety, while the allegation is for resisting. Allegedly, according to the police report, he went around a building, sat on a porch, and that's when the officers got him. This is according to the police report. There is no history of violent offenses that I'm aware of, and there's minimal criminal history for this individual. So public safety here is minimal. It's my understanding that his residency is out of state, and the court has concerns of risk of flight. However, he is working here. He has been here for a period of several months working, and he has several months remaining on his contract. To hold him would effectively amount to a pretrial sanction out of a general concern that someone from out of state would flee, but we have nothing to indicate that as to Mr. Fagan and that being a risk as to Mr. Fagan. He wants to get back to work and continue his employment pending further proceedings in this matter. If the court, again, if the court says though that subsection C wouldn't apply, we then go into subsection D. We can assure compliance with bond terms through non-monetary conditions, such as a tether or reporting with community corrections or other steps to ensure he is not leaving the state and to address any other concerns the court might have. His current bond is just higher than he can afford. He has been housed and unable to obtain a bondsman since I believe the 2nd, and he would like to be able to get back to work. Right now, the bond is excessive for him and his means, and as MCL 7.6.56 states, the amount of bond shall not be excessive. Thank you, Your Honor, and I would just incorporate some of the arguments already made on files today. I don't want to belabor the record.
Thank you, Ms. Carey.
I think that Mr. Fagan does present a flight risk and a danger. He does have criminal history out of Florida. It looks like trafficking, union, stolen property, and domestic violence. I don't have any record, or we don't have any information on his record of appearance or non-appearance, or substance use, or mental condition. The RNO, he didn't just walk around the corner. The police were called to the residence he was staying at. It's temporary residence he's staying at, apparently through his employer, although they're staying here and working downstate in the Detroit area and coming back here periodically. When the police arrived at the residence, he went up the back door and he ran from them. He didn't just walk to the next house and sit on the porch, he ran. They had to call out multiple times for him to stop. And so there isn't anyone, we don't have responsible members of the community to vouch for him. We don't have an employer to vouch for him. He doesn't have ties to our community by what it sounds. So I would ask the court to keep on where it is.
I'm trying to find the exact line in the report, Your Honor, but when the officers called out to him, the statement was from, quote, less than 50 yards away. 50 yards is a significant distance, even if it was less than 50 yards. And the report indicates that once the officers came up to him, he was completely compliant. He was at a residence where he had the right to be, the right to live. It is where he is staying for work. And for those reasons, we would say the risk of flight is minimal. I understand the concern of lack of ties to the community, but if that was the standard, every person charged with any crime in our state could potentially be held on very high bonds, regardless of the underlying offenses. And that would surely be constitutional under the statute. Thank you.
Give me just a moment. So my understanding from the probable cause affidavit is that law enforcement was there for a B&E and larceny. Upon their arrival, Mr. Fagan had left, then came back. They then called law enforcement. Law enforcement arrives, and he went out the back of the residence again. Am I correct?
Correct.
All right. As Ms. Carey mentioned, Ms. Fervento.
I would just emphasize, though, the allegation he left out the back door, there's no allegation he was under any detainer at that time. He was detained by officers. He was not free to go at that time. So I think to hold that against him for purposes of bonding, if we assume that allegation is even true, is not appropriate. Thank you.
Assuming it's true, I think we can say he walked out the back door to avoid contact with the police, period. Right? I mean, that's they knew what they were coming for.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to get into the back and forth. The defendant's criminal history has been indicated is somewhat limited. They are out of Florida. Ms. Carey mentioned the domestic. I did not have that on my list. I had the dealing with stolen property. That conviction was from 22. And then in 25, there was a conviction for a false name upon arrest or detention. Defendant, and I understand the argument that Ms. Firavento makes about ties to the community, but it is something that the court does need to consider when it comes to return for future court dates. It's alleged in this case that the defendant, upon law enforcement arriving at the home to investigate another crime, Mr. Fagan leaves twice. And his conviction for false name upon arrest or detention does give the court concern about his potential return back to court. He's not from here. He's working here on a limited basis. He's living here, appears to be working in Detroit and maybe other spots around the state. I know Ms. Firavento says that he has some time left on his contract, but we all know contracts don't tie to the community. Bond was set at $25,000, 10%. I believe that is properly set, so the court will keep bond as is. Anything else for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Mr. Cherry.